Like another seconds later, please note for seconds later. So that I will request Juno Mataji, Tata and Manu to give given introduction or was senior.
Good morning. Thank you, Kailash convener and Deputy Convener Lalit for giving me the opportunity to introduce CA HL Motiwalla ji. CA HL Motiwalla ji is the senior partner of Messrs. Chartered and Doshi. He was president of Bombay Chartered Accountants Society. He was past chairman of WIRC of ICAI, Central Council member of ICAI for 9 years. He was Secretary General of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. He co-authored books like Tax Audit Manual, Tax Deducted at Source and Practice, Guidance Note on Tax Audit under Section 44AB of the Income Tax Act. He also contributed various articles on the subjects taxation, company law, finance, and delivered talks on various subjects. Presently, he is writing in the journal All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, columns Nutcrackers. Presently, he is the director in Ashapura International Limited, Ashapura Perfoclay Limited, Orient Abrasives Limited, Ashapura Industrial Finance Limited, High-Tech Specialist Solutions, and Gitanjali Trading. So we got such an experienced speaker today. I welcome him. Please welcome him with a loud sound of applause. And also Paul, CA Jalodiya ji, come Nedin also. Hemanji will go give a small memento as a love and token of love and affection.
Sir, considering your experience with such but the question is not what you should change the floor is all yours. Floor is all yours.
Chairman is absent, convener is in absentia. So I'll start my presentation. In fact, now, actually, this is really old topic. It was introduced in 1985, but it is vibrant. Why vibrant? Because every year there is some change, either way in the act or in the clauses. And your speaker is double the age than the provision. In fact, this study circle started by me when I was the chairman in 1994. So, so yeah. So naturally, for this study circle, I have special regards.
Chair दे दो sir. Chair चले.
नको chair
नको.
नको मी अजून म्हातारा नाही झालो. Now coming to I will discuss first only clause 22, 26 and 36B. In my presentation, I have given that. But before I would like to discuss, I want to make you understand the MSME Act, because MSME Act is very important. Now, I will ask you, I don't know who will give the correct answer. If you buy the goods or services from MSME, within how many days you have to make the payment?
45 days.
That is okay.
If there is some written agreement.
Yeah, okay, if no agreement,
15 days.
15. Right.
Maximum within.
Right. So question is, if you accept the goods or services, from that date, you have to count how many days you have to make the payment. And his answer was right. If there is no agreement, you have to make the payment on the appointed date. On the appointed date, as discussed in the MSME, is the next day after the 15 days. So once you accept the goods or accept the services, then you have to make the payment. If there is no agreement within that is on 16th day, you make the payment before that, no problem. If there is no payment, then within 45 days. But the question is, if there is agreement, then agreement also you can make the payment but not exceeding 45 days. If you make any agreement after 45 days, suppose 60 days, 90 days, then that is not valid. Then you have to make the payment at the end of the 45th day. This is the point. And I'll read out section because the question is clause 22 and 26. Both are important for this payment. Section 50, I'll read out of MSME Act. Where any supplier supplies any goods or renders any services to a buyer, the buyer shall make the payment thereof on or before the date agreed upon between him and the supplier in writing, or where there is no agreement in this behalf before the appointed date. And what is the appointed date has been defined under section 2. Appointed day means the day following immediately after the expiry of period of 15 days. So 16 days you have to make the payment if there is no agreement from the day of acceptance of the deemed acceptance of goods or services. Now what is the provision is this, that once you accept the goods, then you have to make the payment within the prescribed time under section 15. But if you have any objection that your material is not proper or something, then you have to write to the buyer, to the seller, that these goods are not proper, please correct it. So after that correction, you have to count the day. Otherwise, it is deemed acceptance after 15 days if you have no objection. Then section 16 says that if you do not make the payment, then you have to pay the interest. And interest, how much? 3 times the bank rate, and also compounded monthly. That is the important point. So I'll read out. Where any buyer fails to make any payment of the amount to the supplier as required under section 15, the buyer shall, notwithstanding anything contained in any other agreement between the buyer and the supplier or in any law for the time being in force, be liable to pay compounding interest with monthly rate to the supplier on that date, on that amount, from the time the appointed day, or as the case may be, from the date immediately following the date agreed upon, at the 3 times of the bank rate notified by the Reserve Bank of India. So you have to make the payment 3 times. Whatever you make the payment of the interest, even if you make within the time, that will not be allowed under Section 23 of MSME Act. So till last year, what was not allowed was you had to mention only the interest under clause 22. Then whatever the interest paid, whether it is you have paid in time, not paid in time, whatever may be, you have to disallow. Even today also, that clause is there. But there are some more additions, and we'll go further. Why this? You know why I have taken this picture? Can you tell me? The question is, because I was called by the convener on the Prime Minister's birthday. That was on 17th September. And he said, Harish bhai, you have to speak to JB Nagar Study Circle on tax audit. So I told him on 28 who will come? Because after all, 28, who will come if that is not extended? But he probably had a good influence in the finance minister. So he knew. He said, no, sir, you come, there will be people, and probably date will be extended. So either way, he is astrologer or he had some influence in the finance ministry. Anyway, that is the point. Now, going further, see, I'll read the clause. Prior to amendment, clause charge notified under amount of interest inadmissible under Section 23, which I have said, under the MSME Act, or any other amount that are allowable under clause H of Section 43B of the Income Tax Act. I'll explain 43B later on. First, I'll explain clause 22. What it says is amount of interest inadmissible under Section 23 of MSME Act. So that was there. 24, 25, same clause was there. So you have to disallow. Now, the amount referred to in clause 2, the total amount required by the required to be paid to a small MSME or referred to under Section 15 of the MSME Act during the previous year. Now, the point is here it is said total amount. So what is the total amount remaining as on 31st March or total payment made during the year? According to me, that total amount, whatever, whether you have paid or not, you have to mention here. Then amount related to clause 2 above, amount paid up to the time of under Section 15. Up to the time under Section 15, that is very important. Not paid or time given under Section 15, you have to show as a balance. Now the point is that Section 15 we have discussed. Generally what happens is, all clients also says, Harish bhai, it is not necessary that we have to make the payment. If we make the payment within 45 days, it is sufficient. So they provide interest after 45. So that is the point. So which is not correct as per the section actually reading. But it is very cumbersome to calculate the interest every time from a day after, that is from 16th day onwards. But it is a law, and that law you have to follow. So now amount of interest, yes. Total amount, yes, paid. Yeah. It is required to report both subclauses. Again, the point is, now here it is the word, if you see, after clause 1, or is word is there, or. So whether it is sufficient to report only interest? No. You have to take the clauses 2 and 3 also. So or here is to be read as and. And that is clarified by the guidance note also, that this clause has to be read as and. And therefore, this payment plus further amount, whatever paid and not paid, we have to report. Then point is capital expenditure is covered? Yes, because all expenditure are covered. It is not necessary, it is not said that in some clause 21 it is said that debited to profit and loss account. So it is not like that. So any expenditure, whether it is a revenue or capital, both you have to consider. And even if you make the payment for capital goods, you have to mention the total amount. If the supplier or service, there's a point is all supplier or traders are not supposed to register. Some of the traders who are supplying, they have to register in the MSME. If they are not registered, then this clause is not applicable. If they are registered, this clause is applicable. Under clause 22B, one payment details required to be reported, that is, we have discussed whether on the total payment of 31st March. So it is total payment. Clause to a full disclosure requires report total amount, and that we have said that it is total amount including the capital goods paid or not paid during the year. So total amount will start from 1st April to 31st March. Whatever make the payment or not paid, we have to report. And if not paid, we have to report. Now it is more important. Are outstanding on the last day of the previous year have not been paid within the time limit specified in section 15 of that. So this is more important. Not paid is all right, but not paid within 15 days or 16 days or whatever the agreement you have worked out, that 30 days or whatever. Thereafter not paid, then you have to show this out. This will only, if you understand the basic, then whatever the example we will consider, or that it is guidance note also it is given, then you will understand how much amount is to be shown. Now here, that next is where only supplier supplies any goods or services, any service to any buyer, the buyer shall make the payment thereof on or before the date agreed upon between him and the supplier in writing, or where there is no agreement, as per appointed date. That is, we have considered what is the appointed date, provided that in no case the period agreed upon between the supplier and buyer shall exceed 45 days. That is also very clear. Now here, that we are discussing where the agreement is made in writing. Whatever agreement is made, then according to that agreement, you have to make the payment within 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, 90 days also, then you have to make the payment within 45 days. Where there is no agreement, you have to make the payment as per section 15 of the MSME Act. That is within, on the appointed date, that is the next day after acceptance or deem acceptance of the goods or services. That is on the 16th day. If you do not make the payment on 16th day, you have to show as a outstanding, and you have to disclose in the balance sheet of 31st March. Now, new proviso has that section, subsection has been added, that is H, clause H. What 43B says is that if any payment made of the any year, because it is on the basis of cash payment or whatever making the payment, that you have to consider. And you have to make the payment before the due date of filing the return. But that is not applicable to clause H. Why? Why it is not applicable?
45 days has no value.
No, 45 days, no value. Even suppose you enter on the 20th March, you have received the goods. You have to make the payment on within 15 days, right? So you have to make the payment before 4th April next year. That you have not to show as outstanding if you make the payment. That is the example which we will consider. Because 15 days are over on 4th April. So next year, but on 31st March, you can't show as a outstanding because you have agreed to pay. There is agreement, or if no agreement, then otherwise also you have to make the payment. So that you cannot show as per clause H as outstanding. And second thing, whatever payment made is allowed, not the outstanding, whether you pay before the due date. So what is you have to pay is the amount. And once you pay the amount, that will be allowed. And not that pay before. That is 31st March, you have to whatever make the payment, it will be allowed. Suppose next year, you don't pay within the due date, but you pay in the next year. Then that will be allowed in the next year. That is coming in the exam. Then there is a definition of micro industry and small industry. Now the difference she understand is in the clause 22, interest is disallowed for micro, small and medium industry. While reporting this amount, you have to only consider micro and small industry and not medium industry. That is the point. So that is what small industry also has been defined under Section 2 of the MSME Act. Then that we have considered what is the clause, notwithstanding anything contained in so and so, any sum payable by the SSU to micro small enterprises beyond the time limit in Section 15. Mark the word Section 15. In Section 15, we have understood that whatever the mention there date is 16th day of the payment if there is no agreement. If there is agreement, then pay as per agreement, but not exceeding 45 days. This is in short, you have to understand this clause. Any difficulty in understanding clause 22? Am I clear? On clause 22. Then we'll go to clause 26. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You have
One.
Balance sheet date. Events occurring after balance sheet date.
Yes.
Because 7 days is over, then they pay after 45 days. So 7 days interest.
No, question is, we finalize the balance sheet not on the 1st April.
Yes.
Right? We finalize it after 30th April or say on the 30th, like Reliance. Reliance always finalizes it within 30 days, right? But we generally finalize in the month of July, August, September, right? The question is, you know that within 15 days, you will make the payment. So what I gave the example is of 20th March, you have received the goods. And you are making the payment, there is no agreement. So you have to make the payment on 16th day or within 15 days. So suppose you make the payment on the 16th day of the next year, that is not even occurring after the balance sheet date. But you know that you will have to make the payment and no provision will also required to be made under 43B. That is what the point is here.
But they it is paid on 30th
30th
April.
April, naturally, then you have to pay the interest also.
So they have to provide.
Yeah, you have to provide. If you are not paid within 15 days, within Section 15, then you have to provide. But suppose if there is agreement that you will pay on 30th April, then there is no question of making the provision because you are as per the agreement making within 45 days payment. That is the, yeah.
Post 22, Roman 2 says that the amount paid after the due date, you have to mention it, the total amount paid after the due date, right?
No, total amount paid also you have to mention and not paid also you have to mention.
Paid, not paid.
Yeah, yeah.
But that says also inadmissible.
No. Only you have to mention. Only interest in the Section 23 is inadmissible, whether you pay or not. But this amount, whenever you make the payment, suppose you don't make the payment for 2 years, and you make the payment in the 3rd year. So if this is assessment year 25, 26, we'll file the return. But you pay in the 26th, then it will be allowed in 27, 28 assessment year. And that the assessment year will go because it is coming that tax year.
Yes.
And tax year would be 26, 27, 26, 27.
So the purchase bill is of May, due date is June, it's paid in July. So it is not paid within the time.
Interest we have to provide.
It is not, you mention also that amount is paid within the time.
See, according to yes, it is, if you see the slide, what it says is, have not paid within the time limit specified in section 15. So you have to disclose. Disclose. Not
No,
no, it is admissible. It is admissible whenever you pay. Only interest is inadmissible. And interest, once it is inadmissible, then next year you can't claim because it is not allowed at all. Interest. But other amounts are allowed whenever you pay. With interest. Yeah.
Only for reporting.
Reporting, because the question is government want that MSME should not suffer. And that is why they want that payment should be made to MSME within time. This actually act is for that purpose.
There may be 1,000 parties. You have purchased pen, etc.
But you have to obtain MSME number. See, there are in the limited company, there are large number of parties. And we are the auditors. So we do not know which are MSME. So we have to obtain the list of registered MSME. Right? Those who are not registered don't bother.
If client doesn't have the identity.
No, then they should give us the certificate that we do not have the MSME either purchases or we do not have the list. Then we can mention in the 3CA or 3CB in that column. Yeah, observation. That the client has not supplied list of MSME and therefore we are unable to express our opinion. That is, yeah.
Sir, as far as interest is concerned, if SSC is not providing interest.
Who is speaking? Yeah. No, because I should know, and otherwise I'll answer in air only.
We are talking about interest. SSC is not providing any interest.
Interest is not provided.
Books of accounts for SSC, they are not providing.
No, it will.
If late payment is done, then SSC said you don't pay any interest to our creditors.
No,
So we are
that
not providing any interest. Then what is
that, see, the question is that you and buyer, seller has to agree. Otherwise, as per the law, you have to provide the interest.
They say creditor don't want interest. Then go to qualify, the interest is being not provided.
Yes. Even in the clause 22, you have to say.
But if the seller agrees, I don't want interest.
Then that is your power, your personal agreement. Otherwise, as per the law, if you want to follow the law, you have to do that. Because MSME interest otherwise is also not allowed. So the client will say, okay, why I should pay? When I pay, I'll provide that.
So assume they.
Something like
Excuse me, sir.
Kya karega Kaji. And that be made applicable to the law.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. Someone asking questions.
So government company also not paying within 15 days.
Yes.
They won't-
Again, okay, here.
If government company is not paid, they are also not paying within 15 days. They won't pay.
That government, I am not a finance minister. So that government has to take the steps. That government has to take the steps on that company. Because the question is, it is for the benefit of the MSME. Because there are many startups and many startups need a payment in time. That is why this law is provided. But you understand, in India we make the law and never follows. So this is the point. But after all, it is a, see, I am explaining here what is the law and what the clause is. So, right? So, if you don't make the payment, then the client has to suffer. That is not your problem. But you have to qualify this when no payment has been made for MSME. Shall we go further? Yeah.
Next one, filing of income tax returns as on 31st March 25. But I am giving the service sometime in July. Now, how to report that?
No, I am not clear.
I'm preparing my professional piece bill.
No problem, but you are not MSME.
No, I am chartered accountant, one other.
Chartered accountant, unless you register, you
have registered.
have registered as a MSME. You are great. Yes.
Bank ask for the MSME.
अच्छा आप सब बेनिफिट पे हो हमने नहीं किया है so that is the problem.
KYC में एग्जाम नंबर
तो अभी आप गवर्नमेंट के लिखो कि भाई आपको विद इन 15 days या वॉट एवर डेट एग्रीड इज नॉट मिला, तो ये एक्ट का कोई मीनिंग नहीं है. सो मेनी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट राइट, probably they will, bureaucrats will not understand, they will not look also, but then it is, you try. If you try and then you succeed, then good. Then every chartered accountant I request that please register.
Now, sir, what is the possible, the client is asking me, you have prepared the bill on 31st March, but when you are not giving the service, how we can inform this particular floor?
31st March, we give the bill for 31st what they provide. We don't give 31st March unless we make the service or we provide the service. We never give the bill of 31st March unless we provide the services. 31st March they provide. Even on audit, what happens is they provide as per the last year. Then whatever increment, because after discussion balance sheet finalized, we make extra bill for that year, right? That is the point. Yeah. Naren.
The question is that, what he's saying is that he is registered under MSC. Normally, on 31st March, you make a provision for your audit fees and other fees, right? Actually, you prepare the bill and send it to the clients only after completion of the services which you have rendered. So what is the question of 45 days?
No, 45 days or
15 days, whatever it is.
whatever may be, once you make the bill and the client accepts it, from that day, from that day, not 31st March.
Date of acceptance.
Because the question, that is what the 15 section 15 says, that once you accept the goods or services, so when the client accepts the bill, after you send the bill on the, suppose in the month of June, July, whenever that, right? And he accepts that bill, then, or if he has objection, he has to give in writing within 15 days.
Yes, and
In the bill, you put required to be mentioned that it is accepted.
the director report, that is the date of application.
Director's report is,
Company, so that is the date of the bill.
no, not necessary, not necessary. See,
That can raise the bill.
unless you, if you have signed the balance sheet, you can raise very day or next day. Then whether director report is there or not, no question.
If the non-acquisition doesn't arise.
Whatever agreed, there is no question, right? But suppose there is a fee of 5 lakhs, right? And you want that because of the turnover and everything work increases, that it has to be made to 6 lakhs. Client says, client provides as per the last year 5 lakhs. Then whatever 1 lakh that he has agreed, will make the bill for extra, whatever service is rendered. That is the point. And next year he will provide for 6 lakhs or whatever. This is example.
But then 5 lakh has to be paid within 15 days or 45 days?
If you are registered MSME, yes. Yes, then yes.
Even though he has not received the services, he is providing in the books of account.
No, providing it different. Raising the bill and acceptance is different. Provide because he makes the provision because he maintains the books of accounts and maintenance system of account. So not necessary that without service he will pay you. Even if you are registered in MSME, that is not it.
Sir, in this case, TDS is deducted on 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs or 6.
CDS 5 lakhs. 5 lakhs.
What about the 1 lakh extra?
That next year, whenever you make. Yeah.
But additionally, they will have to accept the bill.
If you see the question, Narendra, that all this is client and SSC professional. And generally, if you client will agree if work has increased, there is no restriction. I mean, every third year we ask for the increment. There is no question. And then they generally consider, unless there is no business.
Yes, a smart guy, I'm trying to register under the MSME. So if you say client also will be smarter than us, says that I have not accepted your bill.
Then he has to give in writing. Na?
That's why I'm saying that you have to take in writing that I have accepted the bill.
No, not necessary. Otherwise, it is deemed acceptance. Deemed acceptance. That is what section 15 says. And appointed day also it is said that if it is within 15 days, no objection, it is deemed acceptance. That is right. Yes, sir. Any problem?
MSME Act is applicable for
MSME Act is applicable to MSME, yes. Yes. So those who are registered as the MSME, they will get the benefit. Even they don't get the payment, then they have to write to the finance minister or whatever may be. Because
The SSC is the MSME.
SSC,
He's the MSME.
yes.
So for him also, for his MSME would be applicable.
Yeah, you need to say one MSME buys the goods from another MSME. Yes, it is applicable to both MSME. Yeah. But generally, limited companies would not be registered because MSME there is see, it is a micro capital is investment in the plant and machinery 1 crore and turnover is 5 crore. That is what small, right? Micro. For small, it is 10 crore and 50 crore for 25-26. Then 26-27, other limit is there, which I have representation, it will come. Yeah. Shall I go further? Now 43BH also, are you clear? When you make the payment, that will be allowed. And not on due date. That is not important. Due date is important for the taxes, duty, etc. Or bonus, leave salary, make interest paid to the banks and financial institutions. That due date is applicable. But for H, it is not applicable. That is why it is specifically excluded in the clause. Now it is point to be considered by the tax auditors whether enterprise is registered the MSME, because that is important. And all you have registered, so you have to not to remember, but auditor of your auditors will have to remember. If on the entity registered of any time during the current previous year, now suppose accounting year is April to March, you registered in the July. So MSME Act will apply in the July, from July, right? And not earlier. April to June will not be applied because it will apply from the July 1st whenever you register. Yeah. Any question? No. Then question is, if registration is cancelled of MSME, you had already supplied the goods. MSME registered is cancelled. So that is prospective. On the date on which you have supplied the goods or services, whether it was MSME status. If it was MSME status, MSME Act would be applicable. Otherwise, no. The proviso 43B that we have considered. Now here see, this is the example given in the guidance note at page 208. Yeah, page 208 where agreement is made and page 209 where agreement is not made. Now here see the point is day of acceptance, 20th March, which I have given the example. Now within 15 days he has to make the payment. That is on the 4th April or whatever, 19th April, agreed upon. Okay, agreed upon date is 19th. He make the payment 19th. So there is no question of making any provision in the books of accounts, right? Secondly, now on 20th 3, they accepted. Again, the date of acceptance and date of agreement was also 19th. But it is made a payment on 10/5, late. Then you have to disallow that payment in the 25-26 we are considering. And whenever you make the payment, that will be allowed in 26-27. Similarly, next, you have accepted the goods on 20th. You have agreed upon to pay on 19th, but you don't pay on 19th and you pay in 26th. 10/6/26. Then it will be disallowed for 25-26. It will be disallowed for 26-27, but it will be allowed in 27-28. So whatever disallowance is not you are affecting. It is only deferred. That is the point. You have to, whenever you make the payment, you will get the deduction. So it is deferred payment. Then again on my see, next is 20th, 25, you have agreed. 30th, 20th June, you make the payment. You did not make, you make on, no, you make within time, so it will be allowed. See, the same example where there is no agreement. Where is no agreement, then you have to see that you are paying on the 15th day. That is what the example is. You buy the goods on 20th March. You make the payment on 5th April. There is no question of making provision in the books of account. That is the point is. It will be allowed. Second is also the same thing. Then you may, you are not, there is no agreement. You have accepted the goods on 20th March. There is no agreement. Appointed day is on the 5th. That is the last day. But you make the payment in 10/4/25. So after 25, you make the payment on 10/4/25. Right? So for assessment at 25, 26, it will be disallowed, but will be allowed for 26, 27. Now here also, clause 43B, pre-existed first day previous year, but was not allowed in the assessment year. Which amount you will show here? Last year, which is not paid.
Yeah.
Or paid, that was payable, not paid within time, or which was due after the, after the date, no, but after the agreement you have not provided, then it is due. Or after the due date you have not paid, that is appointed date, then also it is due. So that you will show as a existed as on date, and then paid during the year and not paid, even that. Because we have seen the examples. Example we have seen that if it is paid within the time, not paid within the time, and paid in the next year, then that is the example. So these amounts we have to show here. Then 43B clause 2 is not applicable because it is applicable to other payments, not clause H, that is paid within the due date. So clause 26A is pre-existed, paid during the clause B is where whose income in the previous was income incurred in the previous year other than H, yes, paid and not paid. See, now this is the definition of micro. Now here question is, because line has not come, micro is 1 crore investment, turnover is 5 crore. From next year, 2 crore 50, that is 26, 27, 2 crore 50 lakhs investment, and 4 times. Earlier it was 5 times. If you consider 1 crore to 5 crore, it was 5 times for 25, 26. Even here also, small also, 10 crore to 50 crore. Then that was 5 times. Now it has reduced to, turnover reduced to 4 times. That is the point. This is the, again, the, this table is also given here in the guidance note. Now coming to clause.
Either you have a 500 crore turnover or rate the whole construction will meet for one.
No.
125 crore turnover is talking about medium.
See, the question is, medium you are not to consider.
Micro.
Yeah, see, micro, you have to consider only for interest disallowance, you have to consider medium. Otherwise, only micro and small. Now, what is today? What is the limit? Investment in the plant and machinery 1 crore, and your turnover should be 5 crores. And yeah, both. No, and both. You have to register as a micro. You have to have 1 crore minimum investment in the plant and machinery. 1 crore, up to 1 crore. And then you should have the turnover 5 crore. Like. Similarly, for small also and micro. Now, see this year, whatever the buyback of share, you will pay the tax as a dividend. Earlier, it was not there. So 115Q was precursor to section 36, to clause 222F. So what is the point is earlier was that section was applicable only up to 30th September. You have to remember this. Because whatever you receive the amount after 30th September for buyback of shares, that will be considered a dividend. Before that, the company it will not be considered dividend and company will pay the tax. After 1st October, you will have to pay the tax. That is why the difference is necessary to know. Applied to domestic company, it provided that in addition to tax payable by the company will pay 20% on whatever the distributed amount. That is up to 30th September. Whether company is liable to pay tax is not, suppose company is running in the losses. Then not liable to pay the tax. Or suppose they are claiming exemption under 80 HS or whatever may be, now 10 HS or 80 IA. Then that even company is not liable to pay the tax. Whatever amount distributed, they will have to pay 20% on that. And naturally, shareholders, that income will be exempt. After 30th September, this is the position. Buyback means purchase by the company of its own shares. Distributed income means whatever consideration paid by the company on the buyback of shares as reduced by the amount which was received by the company for issue of shares. That is the cost. You have to reduce the cost because the company is buying back. So whatever the share issued was earlier, that was the cost in your hand. So that has to be reduced and balance should be considered as a dividend and company will have to deduct the tax at 10% under section 193. And then it is liable to tax in your hand. Now 36B, you have to, yeah.
A little confusion for shares buying, you say the dividend distribution. Will you consider as a dividend now buyback? You said
After
purchase
1st
cost-
October, after
purchase
1st.
cost will be deducted. It's not purchase cost. It's a cost at which the shares have
been issued to you.
Yes.
Suppose 100 rupees shares have been issued at 100 and today company is buying back at a 500, then 400 would be dividend in your hand because they will distribute 400 rupees to 500 rupees, but the 400 will be your dividend.
Consider that I purchased that at 300 rupees from the market.
No, I'm not clear.
If let's take an example of Infosys. It's available at 1500 rupees today, right? They're going to buy back at 1800 rupees.
No, but you have bought from the market.
Yes.
Okay.
So now supposing if I'm buying at 1500 rupees
and
I'm surrendering it for buyback,
1800.
That 1800 rupees will be considered as a dividend income.
Distributed income means, I'll read out, the consideration paid by the company on buyback of shares as reduced by the amount which was received by the company for the issue of shares. So 100 rupees was received by the company. You bought from 1500 from the market. Today you are receiving, so 1700 will be considered dividend in your hand. That is what I mean.
Company will result to you.
No, that is.
There is a big thing that you can do is that buy Infosys today, where your other partner or somebody in the family is not having any income. Okay. Suddenly for 1800 rupees, there's a straight benefit of 20% within 6 months' time, provided everything goes well. Right? But entire 1800 rupees will be considered.
No, but whatever the.
Vis-a-vis 1500 rupees will be considered as a capital loss, which can be adjusted over a period of time. So then it's good time to make 20% where you have the people who are not paying taxes.
Correct. Only,
It's
it's
a
a particular plan, like
That's exactly what is needed.
No, I'm not clear what you are asking.
The
I'm not-
acceptance ratio won't be 100%.
It will be, but.
It will be 5%.
Public holding is 13.91%. Out of 13.91%, 12% people will not give for buyback for a single reason that entire 1,800 rupees will be considered as income.
Yes.
Now, what are they going to buy back is 2.91%, right? So you have ample of chances that up to 100 shares, it will be bought back. That is what the presumption.
Can we offer as capital gain, 1,800 minus 50?
No, you can't. No.
Now there is law.
There's a law.
There is no question. You can't say it is a capital gain. And company will issue the letter. In the letter itself, they will mention that we have deducted the tax under section 193, considering as a dividend. In fact, recently I have seen Tata Motor DVA, yes, same thing. Yeah, so they have also deducted the tax. And one of the client was asking, can I offer as a capital gain? I said, you are the loser.
Yes.
In fact,
Yes.
yeah, because the capital gain, if you offer, you will have to pay the tax on the whatever may be. But here you are only reducing the tax of the dividend. No doubt, in your hand, you will have to pay naturally.
The only thing is practically, I think there are 10%. Bajaj Consumer came recently, they deducted 20%.
No, but 193 provides.
Income. Considered as a dividend, only 10%.
They deducted 20%.
No, please, don't intertalk in between. Let me understand what is the difference. Because otherwise you will be enlightened and I'll be not enlightened. So the question is, point is that is a different question. We are here discussing the law. And today the law is that 193, 10% plus surcharge and whatever that tax is. That is a different question. But you are 193, they will deduct the 10%. So any point on 36B? If not, then we'll go. Now here I have given the comparison, whatever we have discussed. Yeah. So can we go to significant issues? Or you have any point on this? First we'll finish this because I had been allotted this topic that whatever the amendment made in 25 and other significant issues. So before we go to next, do you have question on these three clauses only? Other clauses I am not going to discuss because those are old clauses and there are no changes in that. Only point is significant issue we'll consider in those clauses. Yes.
Then timeline is 45 days now.
45 days, if there is no timeline as per the agreement, or if you don't pay within that day, if there is no agreement, then you have to pay on the 16th day. But if there is agreement, or if there is no agreement, then 45 days is the maximum. But you have to calculate interest from the 16th day. That is the main point. Section 50, yes.
So उसके investment का रहेगा नहीं?
Either.
You have to pay next payment within 16 days.
Question is, that is what section 15 I read out.
Right, the itself.
That is, if party writes that no credit is available after 15 days, it means you have to pay on 16 days. Right? If party doesn't write, that as per the agreement is 30 days or 45 days. Right? But maximum is 45 days. But you have to provide interest. That is my point is. If there is no agreement, then you have to provide interest from the 16th day. You make the payment whenever, that doesn't matter. But provide interest from 16, and that is 3 times the bank rate and monthly compounding. That is the point.
Actually, MSMEs have started deregistering themselves.
No, good, no? For then we have not done at least in reporting or audition tax audit report. For calculate, even in I have seen many clients calculate interest, whatever the bank rate 3 times, only after 45 days. Because they say 45 days time chase, make it nothing time. Then we have to explain that.
Even in the case of payments where during the year it was delayed, then also in that case interest is to be provided.
Yes.
It has to be provided. But that interest, again, point is, it will be disallowed, whatever the interest.
Whatever
I
is
think-
allowed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Supplier is a procurement of the coal. The government. He has registered himself as a MSME service provider. He raises the bill for a full amount. Cost of coal plus services. And he insists for okay, will give a full payment. How about producer? Further is
No, I'm not, what you are saying is,
my supplier is a procurement of coal from the government.
yes.
He coal from the government 100 and he charges raises bill of 102 rupees on me. He's a trader. He's not a otherwise supplier.
If he's a trader, then MSME is not applicable. But he is registered, like, yeah.
He is registered as a supplier.
Then you have to pay 102. 102.
102. That is.
Yeah, shall we go?
Yes, sir.
Now, question is tax audit applicable when income is exempt? There is no exemption clause under 44AB. Even exempt is income and you are doing the business, right? Then whatever the business you are doing, then if your turnover exceeds whatever, maybe 1 crore or 10 crore, because that 1 crore limit is there when you are making any payment more than 5% of the gross turnover or any expenditure over 5% in cash, then 1 crore. Otherwise, limit is 10 crore. So that is the point. So now here the point is whether tax audit is applicable. If you are exempt, income is exempt under section 11. Yeah. Yes, it will be applicable. Because if you, it is on the basis of turnover, right? It is not that question whether your income is exempt or not. Agriculture, now last point is agriculture receipt is exempt under section 10(2)(a). But if you are doing agriculture business, both agriculture receipt also and you are selling it, then that would be considered that amount. After the receipt, if you are some processing and you are selling it, then that will be considered the business. Unless it is considered as a agriculture income under section 2(1)(a). It is not. Whether the provision of audit applicable 4A. 4A is relating to the trust, charitable trust doing the business. Yes, 4A will be applicable. Now here in this case, matter was where SSE was trading in the future an option transaction. And assessing officer determined turnover from the said transaction of 30.90 crores and levied penalty under section 271 on the ground that you have not got the accounts audited.
Yes.
Right? But Bombay High Court deleted the penalty on the cases of our guidance note, wherein we are saying that whatever the option in future, you have to take the plus minus net balance.
Yes.
That is favorable, omit unfavorable and take the net balance. And on that basis, that penalty was omitted.
The turnover, if it is the F&O is determined on the sum of the differences. Sum of the differences.
Absolutely.
So where the question of reduction will come, the omission of the minus balance.
No, but you are taking only difference, huh? You are not accounting for the receipt, you are not accounting for the payment. So you are taking only the receipt, net. Agreed. See, the question is, bill is given to you. Bill is given to you. You have taken option also, and you have sold the option also. In the bill, you will come both. That you have purchased options so many, you have sold options so many,
Yeah.
and net balance is there. So that net balance is to be taken.
So revise that, okay.
Yeah.
Daily, you have to, if there is a plus.
So that is what the case is. Na? That is why I have taken this case, Bombay High Court. And Bombay High Court said you cannot levy the penalty because guidance note very specifically says of the, and they have considered our guidance note. That is the point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for turnover purpose, I think what he says is right, premium which you've received, right, is to be considered, like, whatever difference is that net is to be considered for a day basis. However, at the end of the year, whatever debit
Whatever,
that-
yes, whatever end of the year, now he says the bill.
then
So that bill if exceeds, suppose you are only option and trading, right? And if it exceeds 1 crore or 10 crore, that net difference, then the tax audit works. Yeah, otherwise no. यस सर, क्या बोलो, मेरे को भी समझ में आवे यार। आप अकेले बात करोगे, मेरे को समझ में नहीं आएगा, फिर बोलोगे हरीश भाई को कुछ समझ में नहीं आता, तो कैसे समझ में आएगा? आप बोलोगे तो समझ में आएगा ना। क्या बोले सर, कुछ है आपको? मेरे को नहीं पूछने का, एनलाइटन करने का, मेरे को भी आज मैं स्टडी सर्कल में क्यों आता हूँ? एट दिस एज ओनली टू स्टडी, राइट?
सबका ज्ञान बढ़े।
हाँ, सबका ध्यान बढ़ता है। इट इज द पॉइंट ऑफ स्टडी सर्कल।
Sir, in the case of broker, they show only the net stipulated income or net stipulated loss.
No, in the case of broker, see, broker, there are two types. One is
That will themselves,
investment also, they are buying and selling also, right? So they are buying the shares and selling the shares. After taking the delivery, then you have M&O business, again the net. Speculation also net. Yeah, net. Now, point is, partners earn the salary and interest from the firm, whether liable for the tax audit.
Because of the latest judgment.
What is the judgment?
Full judgment was there.
So I have given the High Court judgment. Bombay High Court again. Question is, see, why partners is not liable? And that was my point earlier also. If you read section 44 AB, which starts with any person carrying on the business or profession. So person is defined under section 231 of the Income Tax Act. Individual, firm, HUF, etc. So who is carrying on the business? Firm carried on. And partner is only receiving whatever the remuneration. Here now remuneration is not taxable, only that interest and this remuneration is received, not share of profit, because share of profit is exempt. So here the point was same thing, whether she is liable for the tax before the Bombay High Court, and Bombay High Court now says who is carrying on the business? Firm, and therefore firm is liable, not the partner. Even they receive the salary and interest, and though that income is shown as the section 28(1)(5), because share of profit or salary interest to the partners, that, but not liable for the section 44 AB. Similarly, 44 ADA, it is for the professional, right? Whatever, if you have income is less than 50 lakhs, you can offer 50%. Or if your expenses is that 5% or more in the cash, then 75 lakhs, the limit. No, without that 75 lakhs, otherwise 50 lakhs. So that you have to consider 50. But once you opt for this, 5 years you have to take this as per the 4480. So that you have to consider. Now here again the point was, what it says is, yes.
Sir, it is, I think it is other, if you opt out of presumptive taxation, then you have to continue for 5 years without presumptive taxation.
44 AD says that you have to offer 50% of your gross receipt, right? So what is the gross receipt is naturally that whatever it is you have. Otherwise, if you are not falling under this, then there is no question of 5 years.
You have to continue for 5 years if you opt out of 44.
Suppose if I am the partner now. Earlier, my proprietary firm or partnership firm was there, H.L. Motiwalla and Company, right? Now, H.L. Motiwalla Company don't want to offer anything because my receipt, though even maybe 50 lakh or less than 50 lakh, because I don't want to offer 50%. But if I offer 50%, then I have to continue for 5 years. Otherwise, there was no question. Huh. So here the point is gross receipt, turnover or sales. It is all credit side. Whether purchase turnover will be considered. I could say no, only you have to consider the credit side and not debit side. So it is all gross turnover, sales, receipt. Everything is on the credit side, so not that. Advance received for services to be rendered to be included in the gross receipt. Suppose contractors are there, builders are there, they receive the amount. Whether that receipt will be considered a gross receipt, it will not be considered gross receipt because yet service is to be provided and you have received it is your liability. So you show the liability, you don't consider it. Even in the cash basis, which I have given the Karnataka High Court, Shankar Narayan Construction Company, advance deposit or fund not liable to tax even in cash system of accounting. Because court said that cash system is applicable for not whatever you receive in cash. Whatever you have received for the work done, that is you have to consider, not the amount. In case of salary employee who has done huge transaction of intraday speculation, trading, but not given the for the year is a few thousand rupees, or they've been few thousand, but done intraday transaction close. Again, the net income is to be taken here also. That guidance note says. In case of multiple business, you have to take turnover of all the business, right? If you suppose there are 5 business of yours, A, B, C, D, E, and you appoint separate auditors for each, then it is turnover of each that businesses. But if you appoint only one auditor and you are given, then total turnover is to be taken of all businesses.
In the case, if there are the gross receipt also say of rent, of salary, then that has to be considered for the purpose of turnover.
No. Salary is taxable under the head salary.
Okay.
Whatever that interest of rent is considered as income from house property or income from other sources. Those are not businesses. Suppose you are a proprietor. You receive the interest also. You have done the business also. And you said your tax audit is done for the business. Then that will be considered, right? And not that proprietor. Even dividend received, that will be income from other sources, but that cannot be considered as a turn.
Separate books of account.
No, even not, yes, you will have personal, yes, but otherwise only business transaction is to be considered.
But for GST audit, the rent will be treated as turnover?
Sir, I am not discussing GST and I am blank in the GST.
Sir.
No, ask someone who knows. But see, the GST is a different law, right? And not that, see, we are considering here the tax audit. And tax audit, whatever income tax that we are not doing GST law, right? And GST law, yes, everything is considered as service, even rent received, rent paid, whatever may be. Society also has to pay GST. Even they collect the rent from the office or houses. Then that is GST is applicable. But here not applicable. That, you see, all laws are different and you have to consider according to law of when you are doing GST, consider the GST. No, don't mix up. When you audit, consider the Companies Act. Now, Companies Act depreciation is different, income tax depreciation is different. So once you make the computation, you disallow the depreciation of the Companies Act and you calculate the depreciation as per block of assets as per Income Tax Act. So this is the point. So all laws are separate. So here rate is not to be considered as a turnover. So every time it happens, even TDS it happens. Because TDS client deducts when they pay the audit fee, but we show when we receive. That is the point. Now, question is withdrawal done by the partner. Can it be considered as expenses more than 5% limit?
No.
No, because he has withdrawn the cash. It is not debited to profit and loss account, or otherwise it is not expense. It is going to partner's capital account as a withdrawal, so it will not be considered. Future and options that we have 3 to 10 crore. Again, the same point that net to be taken. But if net is more than 1 crore or 10 crore, that we have to take that. Yeah. Presumptive tax rate?
Presumptive, under 4480, if I am opting for presumptive.
8%.
Depend on turnover is a.
8% or 6%.
Yeah. Then will the turnover limit be 3 crores or 2 crores? Then 3 crores is only for electronic payments.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
will it be 3 crores
So how you make the payment?
for F&O trading? The turnover is.
No, agreed, but you make the payment by account check, pay check. Net, you must be paying to the broker, right?
Yeah.
You must be paying through check or electronic.
Yes.
Then whatever that applicable, 3 crore. Right? I think here more are the FNO people than the profs.
Also, they do 90% people paying losses. Because of this.
I don't know. At least I have no experience because I am not doing this. And at least,
CS have no option not to go for F&O and all.
sir, I am not objecting to that. But the question is you should earn. Because after all, I don't want to reduce from my professional receipt, losses, whatever it is. Then that is the point.
Yes, the point of it that we are transferring payment to broker by account pay check, so it is a 3 crore limit.
Yes.
But the turnover definition is notional profit or notional loss, whichever is total. So that notional profit and notional loss doesn't come to the account.
No, it is only net balance will come. Na? That is what we have discussed. Net balance will come.
That balance will be the
That we have discussed earlier, that if your net balance increases the amount, then you have to consider it. Now this is important question for all of us. Can tax audit be revised? You can. There is no restriction to revise. If company's accounts are revised and their balance sheet is revised, report is revised, either way because of the law or because of the CBDT circular or as per the company's account, then in that case you can revise. Suppose here also you file the audit report on 30th September. Due date for filing the return is 31st October. And you make the payment, whatever under 43B except H, A, B, C, D to G, that is tax, duty, provident fund, gratuity, etc. You make the payment before 30th June and you want to claim the deduction. You can revise. There is no restriction for revision. Even 6G of the rule, which it is said that 6G rules also said that you may revise. May revise, that is okay, but then you have the option. See the question. Provide that the tax audit report furnished may be revised by the accountant and furnished before end of the relevant assessment year. Why this end of the assessment year? 25-26, which is the last date for filing the return? 31st March 26. Assessment year 25-26.
करके बाद तो पेनल्टी लगाने का चालू कर देते हैं.
See, the question is that is a different thing only for the tax audit. Suppose, right? Even if you revise before December, there is no harm. Suppose you file the tax audit report today. You find that it was filed wrongly. Some items not shown or whatever was shown wrongly. Then you could revise. There is no restriction to revise, but you have to explain why it is there.
If you revise after due date, suppose your due date is 30th September.
You have filed.
You have filed.
Yes.
There is no date, no, because it will be first
For
October then.
For revision, there is no restriction. Na? You could revise before Rule 6.3 provides for it. You could revise up to end of the assessment year. That is what rule provides. That is what I am drawing your attention. Sir, wrong way, right है? नहीं. Now here is you have opted for optional tax, 20%, 15%, 22%, 25% or 15%. Then generally you will write in the tax audit report. You have opted for 115 AB or BA or AD, whatever, that 15% tax is manufacturing. Then it is necessary that you should file some form. 10 IB, 10 IC, something like that, 10D, whether it is required to verify this by the auditor. That is the point. You have opted, that company has opted, generally company will opt for this concessional tax treatment, and generally company will file. But if it is not filed, then whether that option goes, you have to file 10 IB or 10 IC. Within the time, but company forgets to file or file late, right? Then whether company loses the benefit of 22% or 15%, whatever may be.
Case for 10IE also.
No, that is. So that decision of Calcutta High Court, recent decision 479 ITR Part 1. Calcutta High Court in the Fastener Commercial Limited held that it is only a procedural defect and not any substantial. Law is complied, only it is delayed, and it was there before the assessing officer when he completed the assessment. So there should not be any loss to the company and they can apply. That is what it says.
Portal is allowing to file after the due date.
See, portal is again at the point, and that is why the picture shows it, that he is sitting like this, because portal also doesn't allow many times. So point is the portal, that is what High Court says, that it is a defect of the portal and they should correct the portal. That is the point. So if you have not filed, then what happens? Suppose time is gone, not filed. Then whether you lose the claiming for that less rate takes, that is the point. So it says it is only a procedural defect. You can't. Now see this. A has opted for presumptive tax 44 AD in respect of one business proposition. Whether auditor is required to mention the details of such business in the out audit report, he has to only mention the figure, whatever shown that he has opted for presumptive tax. And whatever the profit he has shown in the profit and loss account, that he has to omit for 44 AB, and that has to be shown separately in the auditor report. But he cannot ask, how did you show or something. That is his, because he has to answer that, whether it is 8%, 6%, whatever may be. Now here the point is how to apportion the expenses. This is the point. You have some presumptive income also, and you have the business also, and you have shown the presumptive income in the profit and loss credit side. You have incurred some expenses for that, and you have debited to profit and loss account. Then what to do?
On the basis of turnover, you can bifurcate.
Yeah, that is what it says. Is you have to apportion. You have to apportion the expenses. That is what it says. Yeah, is that you have to show the apportionment of the expenses. What should be the manner in which provision of 43 CA is applied in case of building opting percentage completion method? It is recognized method, percentage of completion method. And he is only opting for unless he transferred any stock in trade, because 43C is other than the capital assets. So any land and building is transferred, then 43CA will come. Otherwise, no, because it is offering whatever the receipt on the presumptive basis, because building is not complete. So that is allowed here. There is no question. Whether leasehold right. Now see, this is the difference. If you transfer the land, which is freehold or leasehold, then you are liable for tax either under 50C, because it says land, building, or both. So there should be tangible assets. And that tangible asset, if you transfer, whether it was land was ownership or leasehold right, doesn't matter. Once you transfer, it is liable to tax. Point is only you don't transfer the land, building, etc., but only lease is transferred. Right? Then in such case, High Court said that lease is not liable to tax. That is the point. Because you have not transferred land, building, or both. No tangible asset has been transferred. That is, now all the here in the new money lines, all buildings are on the lease given by the Bombay Port Trust. Right? So Bombay Port Trust lease expires after 33 years. And that lease Bombay Port Trust transferred to someone else. Then they are not transferring the land, building, because those are occupied by us. Right? So they are transferring only the lease. So that question is that leasehold right is not taxable unless you transfer some tangible asset with that. Section 56. Section 56.
Whatever lease right money is received by the lessor is exempt.
You can say it is a capital receipt. Because you have received.
Rupees.
That is whatever that, see, dispute, you have to go to the High Court is different thing. But legally you can ask for it that you have not transferred. I'm owner of the land. And I received, suppose I transfer for that, I give you the lease right for 10 years to use my office. Right? After 10 years, you have to vacate. And you pay me after 10 years something like amount, X amount. In that X amount, I will say that it is only I had given the lease or license, and then licensee has surrendered me, so property remains with me. That is the point. This Bombay High Court, again, the Greenfield, wherein it is said that if there is no transfer of tangible asset, then no question. Amount debited to profit and loss account, that has to be considered. Now, expenses incurred for compounding the offense. Now, it is necessary these clauses have been added recently. So, not to disallow, but you have to show the amount. Compounding of offense, suppose you have paid, suppose sales tax or whatever that, now GST, you have not paid in time. So, they have levied interest or penalty. And that penalty, to avoid penalty, you said that, okay, I am agreeing for compound. Even income tax also, you can agree that you can compound. Right? In that case, what happens? So you have to show only the amount, whether to allow or disallow is not your choice. Only you have to mention the amount.
Disclosure.
Huh?
Disclosure.
Disclosure. These are all disclosures. expenditure incurred to provide any benefit requisite. That also you have to disclose, not to disallow anything. Because these are new disclosures all. There has to be benefit or perquisite given. Such benefit or perquisite to be taken by a person. Acceptance of such benefit you have to only disclose, not to disallow. Entrance fee, life membership fee paid to the club, whether it will be allowed.
The personal nature not allowed.
You have incurred, now company paid the life membership fees. Then in that case, now there are these decisions are there. OTC limited directly on the point, wherein the company paid membership fee in the club for the directors. No, they say Bombay High Court said it is for the purpose of the business. They are increasing the business and they need social group to meet, and therefore these fees are paid. So even that membership fee, life membership fee is allowed. That is what it is. Now question is 30%. If TDS is not deducted, 30% of expenses are disallowed. And when you pay that payment, I'm sorry. That 30% payment or expenses is disallowed if you have not deducted the tax. Right? Now question is whether capital expenditure you have not deducted the tax, MSME or something like that. Then whether that is to be considered, what it says is whatever debited to the profit and loss account. Capital expenditure will not debit to the profit and loss. So there is no question of this.
Depreciation of disallowed?
No.
Depreciation.
No. That is all. TDS amount will be allowed if SSC has not deducted TDS, obtain CS certificate. Now many times what happens is TDS is not deductible. And the payee paid the tax on that income. And he says, I have paid the tax. And he informs he gives the certificate to the CA, or CA verifies that he has paid the tax, he has filed the return. Then in such case, you have to mention in the tax audit code this column, as per the certificate given by the respective chartered accountant, tax has been paid by the payee, no, not deducted. Now here partner salary. Earlier it was 3 lakhs up to assessment year 24-25. Now it is 6 lakhs and 6 lakhs 90% and balance 60%. Similarly for loss, if 150 were there, now it is 3 lakhs. You can pay salary, even loss is there. 3 lakhs to all partners. GST. Again, the point is here, if you pay advance GST, that amount is gone from your pocket. It is irrecoverable. And therefore, you can say that it will be adjusted and therefore you can claim under 43B. That is what the point is. And this is what Supreme Court says in Modi on Limited. Modi Pon Limited, actually P is omitted. Modi Pon Limited. अरे अटक गया देखो क्या है. I am not tired, but computer is tired. सर बोलने दो अभी के बात करूं. नहीं आपने ताली बजाया उसका 2 मिनट होता है सर, कोई उधर आके बैठे. आप जैसे बोलो सर, आप ऑथर, आप बॉस हो इधर. If statutory does not consider any attempt as a prior period, Statutory auditor consider this is not a prior period. But tax auditor consider that it is a prior period. Whose opinion will prevail? Tax auditor. That is what it says. According to me, even if there is a dispute between you and client about any item, mention specifically both the views in the 3CA or 3CB and let the assessing officer decide. Because it should not happen that client should suffer. Sole proprietor agreed to transfer his personal property to X and he received the amount. Now, whatever he received the amount in advance and he does not pay, that amount is forfeited, then it is liable to be taxed. Or if there is a capital gain, then it has to be reduced that amount from the total amount and then he has to pay the tax.
So is it not possible to reduce that amount from the?
So that is what I have said. That is what I have said. If he has received the amount, no question, you have to reduce that. Because you have received advance, right? For sale of property. That amount, naturally, that payment is made by the purchaser. So he will not pay again for the full consideration, he will deduct the amount and pay. So that is what you have to consider. And even if you forfeit down, that is transaction doesn't go through and you have received that amount also you have to offer for tax. You can't say it is a capital receipt because I have not transferred. So that is why 56(9) says. Now here is interesting case is about cash payment during the year or for any transaction more than 2 lakhs. That you cannot say that it is given to relative. My next example is there. Father, yeah. Now here. He purchased the goods from A, what? This is again entry. Now this is understanding between A, B, C. A sold goods to B for 3 crore and he has to receive the amount from B, but instead of that, B has sold to C and he says you recover from C and there is an agreement. See, it should be in writing. Then there is no question. Otherwise, if you pass through journal entry, then it will be said it is otherwise then payment of check, account pay check or draft. That is what the point is here. Now cash payment here is the, it is given in the tax audit form also. How you are making the payment, you have to write the code. Now you pass the journal entry and write the code, it means you have paid the amount, otherwise then payment of cash or bank draft. Advance received from person for sale of the goods shall also be disclosed. Yes, that. Sale of goods when you receive it is a 28 and that doesn't come under section 269 S/T. Whatever you receive the amount, even 2 lakhs or more in the day, that cannot be considered under 269 because it is not a deposit or receipt. It is a sale, it is a transaction yet to be happened and we have received the amount. Now it is again the point is received gift from the following manner. 250 each from his father and brother on single day. 180 each from his 10 friends on occasion of marriage under section 69T. Whether it will apply. Now I have received the gift from my father in cash. 2,50,000. Whether that receipt is not taxable in my hand because it is relative, my father. But whether father will have to pay the penalty because he has paid cash to me under this section. That is the point. And it is, I could say yes, it is a penalty is payable by the father because he has paid amount more than 2 lakhs this day. No doubt it is paid to son. Income is exempt in my hand, but father will have paid the tax. That is what the point is. This is the point that taken, and 271 DD. Hence, the gift cash be from the father and brother, though exempt under section, shall be liable for the penalty under section 271 DA. Now, cash gift received 180 lakhs on marriage from 10%. No penalty, even though it is received in cash, but it was less than 2 lakhs. Please can keep there is no penalty, yes, sir. Deemed dividend, registered shareholder. Now here the point is 222E. What is said? A registered shareholder having beneficial interest. If you read the 222E, which clearly says registered shareholder having beneficial interest. So you have to consider who is the beneficiary at the time of receiving the amount, whether dividend or otherwise. And that has to be considered here. Breakup of expenditure here. For the 44, total expenditure is to be shown. That amount is to be shown total, not headwise. That is what guidance note clearly said, and that is what the point is. Purchasing goods, availing service from the registered supplier, the registered supplier got cancelled. When you purchase the goods, he had a registration. But later on, that is cancelled. So what you want to see is on the date of purchase, whether he was registered or not. Thereafter, you need not say.
Sir, it is cancelled from back date.
Which date? From that date. No, but you had purchased. You have purchased after cancellation. Then it is unregistered dealer for you also. So you have to show.
The department cancelled it today, 2021, they cancelled it from the back date.
Then you can say that when you purchased, that was registered. Now you have cancelled during the, now today with the backdated, that is your problem. But I had purchased from registered dealer, and you show the registered dealer purchase. That is my point. Well, friends, it is last slide, very important. Sorry, no, one more slide. Okay, what is the SSC is not holding the position? Give details as per provider 44. Corporation disclosure may be made. Details are not given by the client about the GST. Then what is to be done? So you have to mention that no details have been given by the client. Because client has to approve now 3CD first. Then you can only upload. So this is the point. Thanks, sir. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
One question in 2025 is the tax audit there or it is deleted?
No, 25? No. What is your question?
2025 income tax act.
2000 new act.
Yes.
No, it is there. What is deleted is proviso and explanation. No proviso, no explanation. You have to read the act, and it is all provided in subsection. Now, for interpretation, it would be very difficult. That is the point, and there would be more different. Though object was different in bringing 2026 Act that to reduce the litigation, but according to me, no, because each clause of the section or each subsection will provide different meaning that way. So it will be very difficult for the even for interpretation.
Sir, for excessive with an individual has turnover of 2.2 crore. That is below 3 crore. And
For you are presumptive tax.
maintains books of account and net profit is below 6%, 4%.
No, you have to get it audited. There is no question. You have to either way you offer it whatever that 8% or something.
Maintains books of account.
Then you have, so the question is, you are AD, suppose 8% or 6% if you make the electric payment. Suppose your turnover is below that, or even you don't offer 8% or 6%. you have to get accounts audited.
To add to that point, if all the transactions are through banking route.
Yeah, and books of account are maintained.
No, agreed. You offer the presumptive tax under 44 AD.
No, we are not, let's say it's the first year of business. Person has started a business and he has made a turnover of 2.2 crore. And all the transactions are through banking channel. Whether audit is applicable, whether and the net result is below 6%. That outcome of the business.
You are asking for 44 AB.
It is not really.
1 minute. You are asking for 44 AB.
No. I'm not willing to opt for 44 AD. I am maintaining.
No, AB. I am
AD.
AD. You are asking, then you have to offer it.
I don't want to opt for 44 AD.
Okay.
And I'm maintaining books of account.
Okay.
My turnover is above 1 CR. So
1 CR, no problem.
Below 10 CR
And you are not 5% that payment, cash, the all bank transaction.
Yeah.
Then whatever the profit there, 44 AB is not applicable, 44 AD is not applicable. Yeah.
If the monthly turnover is less than 10
No. He is not offering na presumptive tax.
For 44 AD. I am maintaining regular books of account and I am showing the actual profit and loss balance sheet.
If he shows more the profit, suppose 8 to 10%, then no question. But suppose he showed less than that, then also he is not offering under AD. If he offers under AD, then he has to offer for 5 years or something.
No, I am not opting for 44 AD.
No question.
Yeah,
ma'am. I thought you will not ask me the question because I was to go and see. Yeah. No question.
The profit is more than 50% as per books of accounts.
Professional.
Yeah, professional. So can we offer 50% using for 88?
If your turnover should be less than 50 lakh. 50 lakh. If turnover is more than 50 lakh, then no. Turnover is professional receipt, right? Yeah, 30 lakhs, you mean to say? 60 lakh. Then 40 lakhs you have to offer, whatever. With the partner salary minus rent and salary. Just 5% that cash payment. Otherwise 50 lakhs is there. Yeah. Yes, you have to show. If your turnover is more 50 lakhs or 75 lakhs, ADA is not applicable.
Suppose ADA is, suppose his limit is under, he can use 40 for ADA, suppose.
50 lakh, then 50% he can offer if he doesn't.
Offer 50%,
Yeah.
even though profit is more.
Yeah.
After that, it's
Yeah.
not challenge.
Thank you, right?
And
Question, he can use. Yeah, even.
I have one creditors, giving 1 crore balance opening business.
No, I'm not clear.
I have one creditors, giving opening balance of 1 crore.
You have opening balance of 1 crore.
1 crore, opening creditors accounts. I have purchased good 10 lakh rupees during the year.
Okay.
I have paid only 10 lakh rupees during the year.
Okay.
So I will allow 10 lakh rupees during what I have purchased, or I will reserve in 10. Out of 1 crore is opening balance, 10 lakhs purchased during the year, 10 lakh I have paid during the year.
So you pay, but 1 crore you have to show as a liability, no?
But this I'm about this ones.
Huh?
I'm about this one.
Why disallowance? MSME you mean to say?
Yeah.
No, whenever you make the payment. Suppose after 3 years you make the payment to MSME.
No, I will 10 lakh what I have paid. I will consider the opening balance, or I will pay for the.
Actually, it's whatever may be, you are allowed. Whatever 10 lakhs you pay, whether you pay out of the opening or you pay listed here. That is your choice. But 10 lakhs will be allowed. Everything over. Can I go? Can I sit? Thank you. Our chairman, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
She will give the vote of thanks. I request Deputy Convener to please give a vote of thanks. Before that, only 1 minute presentation of taxman is here. Please, see. हम लोग छोड़ दो। वीडियो नहीं चल रहा है उसमें नहीं है चालू करें नहीं चाहिए हम करो कि नहीं तो बीच में चलेगा तो
Thank you all very senior faculty, Sri Harish Motiwalla ji, for the teaching session and practical aspects on tax audit under section 44 important issues and changes for assessment year 2025-26. On behalf of JV Nagar CP Study Circle, I propose a hearty vote of thanks to our learned speaker and also would like to thank all the members and admin staff for their efforts for this session. Thank you all. Have a nice day and let's pray for Team India winning cricket Asia Cup. Thank you.